Hey everybody, in this episode of OK Garage and Mountain Adventures, we're going to Roswell. Got some EMT training to do and get ready for my certification test. So got the RV behind us, pulling with the J20. It's doing a good job so far, but we're going downhill. It all changes when I'm going uphill. So should have a nice easy trip there, and then coming back, hopefully I take care of the problem. Maybe not. Alright, we'll see you on the next leg.
In my garage, lined up tight, trucks and horses, side by side, rustic dreams under neon lights, nostalgia in every sight. Each truck a story, each horse a friend. In this garage, we're never alone. With trucks and horses, I roam free. In this place, my heart's set free. Garage doors open, night or day. Memories stay, come what may. Under the stars, we roll around. Horses prance, trucks sound profound. In this space, time stands still. Every toy a part of me you'll feel. Each truck a story, each horse a friend. In this garage, we're never alone. With trucks and horses, I'm free. In this place, my heart's set free. Garage doors open, night or day. Memories stay, come what may. Trucks and horses, I roam free. In this place, my heart's set free. Garage doors open, night or day. Memories stay, come what may. With trucks and horses, I roam free. In this place, my heart's set free. Garage doors open, night or day. Memories stay, come what may.
Well, we made it to Roswell. Right at sunset. So, you know, I'd have time to set up the camper. And so there's aliens. That's their theme. Got to the Conoco and the battery's flat. I was going down the highway, had the headlights on, and it started kind of spitting and sputtering. So I thought I'm either running out of gas, which is possible. I mean, it's only a 16-gallon tank, and I'm getting about 10 miles a gallon in this thing. And I filled up before I left. Did do that. But anywho, I on a whim turned the headlights off, started running. So I thought, well, don't run with headlights on because there's, you know, trailer lights and other stuff going on, and I thought it was just draining too much of the battery. So I kept going, got to Conoco, killed it to fill up the gas safely, and got back out. And here's what I got. The ground terminal was loose on the battery. I didn't realize that. Should have checked that before I left. Anyway, go and turn the key on, and we get the great click. Yeah, so I've got a buddy that lives in Roswell. He's going to come and give me a jump. Should be here in about 20 minutes or so. So anyway, we'll get to the camping spot, set up, maybe in the sunset. But we'll get set up. All right, I'll see you then. So I got it started. Now we're at Advanced Auto Parts. You can see it way back there. And the battery completely died. So got a new battery. Cheapest one they got, $89 at AutoZone. Just tell them cheapest one on a back shelf, and they got it. So we're gonna replace this Super Don't Start from Walmart. It was in my daughter's Jeep Liberty. Let me get my other person. Start with the negative. I'm gonna put y'all down for a minute. And it's in. Wasn't that easy? Start with the negative one. Or no, start with the positive one. That's what we're supposed to do. Start with the happy one. Now we'll go with the unhappy one. As Derek says, make sure you pound on them. It's the best thing for them. All right, so that should be enough. Sorry about the finger. That should be enough battery to get me back to the camper. The camper's already set up, so I just have to go home. And I bought a battery charger because I thought I was going to be charging that other battery, which I may charge overnight, just to have a spare battery. This has to get me to the airport. Oh, is this scary? Start telling ghost stories. Anyway, it just has to get me to the the airport for class, and then get me home, and then I can charge it again. New alternator should be in on Tuesday, so we're putting in a new alternator Tuesday night after class. So anyway, I'm gonna go home. Hopefully I don't get pulled over because I'm not turning my lights on. I'm going in the dark. All right, see you at the camp. So we made it back to camp. Sorry about the audio. I'm right here by the heater, water heater, but this is the only place that, maybe I'll step back. The only place we got light. So made it back in the truck. Used the headlights sparingly. I had the parking lights going the whole time, but used the headlights sparingly. I have the old battery on a new charger, so we can charge it up, and at least I'll have a spare battery. I'll have a spare battery when the other battery dies. I can just alternate them. I had to order an alternator. Alternator will be here Tuesday. I think I already said that. So anyway, I'm gonna go in the camper and review for EMS stuff and call the wife and child unit and let them know that I got camp set up safe and everything is kosher so far. So all right, see y'all tomorrow. So last night when I was chasing parts, battery charger, then battery, then alternator. Alternator will be here on Thursday. I think I've already said that. I drove past the McDonald's. I've driven past this tens of times, but during the day, never at night. Last night, I saw it at night. Let me turn this camera around and I'll show you the spaceship part. And keep in mind, this is the only McDonald's that is different than any other McDonald's. The rest of them are cookie cutter McDonald's. But here we go. I'll flip this around. There we go. Isn't that cool? I didn't know it had the chasing lights in the corners and around the windows. It's worth driving here at night. It's totally worth changing all your plans to get here at nighttime to see this McDonald's. I've never seen this. Never ever. And then there's the play area right there. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you guys. It just made my day, made my night, or whatever. But I'm gonna get back to the RV and study for tomorrow and try to get ready. Class is going pretty good. Learn a lot of stuff. So I'll see y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a good evening. All right, so good day. We're here at the campground. Here's the camper. Here's the truck. Picked up the alternator. It's the right one, I assume. It looks the same. And I will show y'all how I know that it's the alternator that's bad, because when the battery goes dead, it goes dead. So this is an old school way. I don't think you can do it on the newer cars. Like 2000s and newer. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. But sometimes it can damage the vehicle. Okay, we're back, keys in hand. So, start the car. The alternator has enough power that the vehicle should run just off of the alternator. So what's going to happen is I'm going to disconnect this battery and it's going to die. So I know it's the alternator. I'll go ahead and leave that disconnected, since I'm going to disconnect this to get to the alternator anyway. So let's get to changing this alternator. I'll get y'all in a good place where you can see, and we'll go from there. All right, so battery disconnected. I'll put my gloves on because I just drove across town in this thing. Pretty sure it's going to be a little bit warm. These belts are a little tight. Still on the same thing. There we go. Getting this front. What? Yeah, figure out. There we go. Just gotta twist it the right way. So there's the old one. Apparently I replaced it when I rebuilt the motor. But that was 10 years ago. Okay. Hopefully I'm not gonna have a big enough socket. Shoot. I have to have a socket to get down into there. Oh, I didn't look deep enough. Hey, I just happen to have a pipe wrench in the truck from a previous project, so I'm gonna get it out. There may be a better way to do this. If there is, type it in the comments down there and let me know. Am I tightening it? I don't know. I don't know which way these things are threaded. Can't tell. There we go. There's an Allen key. How am I going to get the other one off? Maybe when I get the belt on there, let me tighten it. Alright, that's on there now. You know what? I don't think I can see brush wheel marks on this thing. I don't think I put a new one in. I think I just hit it with the wire cheek poker and called it good since it was still good. We are going to learn how to clock in it. So the back of this is rotated 180 degrees. Because this is supposed to be over that, and it is not. From what I've seen, it's just that simple. If it doesn't work, it's future Cody's problem. Not mine right now. So this truck, the alternator went out, I don't know, 50 miles before I got into town, and it got me into town where I could get a jump real easy, and then got me to camp and got me to auto parts stores where I could buy a battery and alternator and stuff. So it broke, but it didn't leave me stranded. I had an old Volvo. It's a 66 1800S that I restored. And that thing, it might break. It might break on the side of the highway. But it never left me stranded. One time I converted it to a one-wire generator from a 12-volt one-wire alternator, GM alternator from a 12-volt generator. And the bracket that I bought for it broke, and I pulled over to the side of the road, and I managed to just kind of let gravity hold it onto the belt, and it got me home. And then I fixed the problem. And then other times it would break. It always got me. Whoops. It always got me home, is the point of the story. And then I bought a white sport wagon Volvo 1800 ES sport wagon, and that thing would break down and it'd leave me on the side of the road every chance it got. There was no limping home. It was a tow truck or a trailer ride home with that thing. So the blue car would get me home. This thing got me where I was headed. And it may have a problem, but it always gets me where I'm going. How many of y'all have had a car that just, it may break, but you work on it a little bit and it still gets you home? How many people have had that, and what cars were they? That'd be fun to know. So this hole right here isn't big enough for that to go through, for that to slide through. I was trying to figure out what I was going to do. I need a drill bit and a cordless drill, and I don't have them. So I was kind of walking to figure out what to do, and I walked around to the end of the truck, and there's a white Ford sitting there. And they're like, "Hey, that's a nice truck. What year is it?" So we got to talking, and I said, "Hey, while I got you here, do you happen to have a drill and a drill bit?" So they're going to get a drill and drill bit for me to borrow to make that hole a little bit bigger. Then I can get this thing put back together. Okay, so it's not a 3/8, it's not a 1/2, it's in between. So I just need to take some of this wall out. So I'm just gonna run this back and forth and just try to take some of that sidewall out until that slides in there just like that. Now I'm just trying to get this to slide all the way through that bracket. Kind of elongate this a little bit. Almost. Alright, that's good enough for the people I hang out with. Okay. Set those over there. I'll go get my headlight. Shoot. No, it's big enough. Why are we not going through? Like a glove. Boy, that went in there easy. A little too easy, if you ask me. Okay, I gotta go underneath it. Put the belts in the bottom pulley. I have to go under the put this bottom one in. All right, that's tight. Somehow I lost my half-inch wrench. Don't know how. That plugs in there. This would be a lot easier with my half-inch wrench. Okay, we're gonna start it up. Look at there. The needle immediately jumped to the right of the zero. It's been hanging over there to the left of the zero. So I already know it's fixed and charging. But to show my theory from earlier, oh, I found my wrench. Let's disconnect this. Still runs. You can hear the idle change because it's not charging the battery right now. So, all right, there's the alternator change in an RV park. Got help from some guys in the RV park with their drill and their bits. Couldn't have done it without them. They stopped because of the cold truck. Oh, forgot about the light. Blinded you guys. Anyway, they stopped because of the cold truck. Oh, look at the birds. Squirrel! I don't get to see that in the mountains. They were in, okay, they said forget formation. Here we go. Anyway, that was cool. All right, catch you guys later. I'm gonna button this up, go for a test drive, and see how it does. All right, class is done. We're heading out of Roswell. heading through, we're not going back through Mayhill to get to Mayhill. We're going to go through Ruidoso, Hondo, then Ruidoso, then take 244 over across to Highway 82. That's going to tell me if I fixed my fuel problem, because that's where I had my fuel problem on the way back from Las Cruces. Was up on 244. So we're going to find out today if we fixed it or not. But we're leaving Roswell. Got Roswell in the tail light. Got Roswell in the rearview mirror. That's what I meant to say. All right, catch you on the next leg. So Ernie got me as far as he could, 29 miles outside of Roswell, and transmission line blew. He's doing the start for fuel thing. I disconnected the fuel line. It's got electric fuel pump in it, and it's just spitting fuel out. So there must be something keeping the sock from picking up, or keeping the fuel line from picking up fuel. Maybe the sock stopped up. I just had the fuel tank out 5 years ago. Hadn't put that many miles on it. So waiting for a tow truck to tow me. Guess maybe have to leave the camper here, but tow me back, get with a friend of mine in Ruidoso, borrow his truck and chase parts, get a lot of antifreeze or ATF, and I'm just gonna do a Derek Breyer thing and buy 3 5-gallon jugs or gas cans and fuel line and just run them straight out of the gas cans and see what that does. So anyway, it's not late in the day, but by the time I get back, it's gonna be late in the day. Oh well, it is what it is. I got a hold of my friend Joe English in Roswell, and he's going to go to the auto parts store and buy some gas cans, fuel lines, and ATF for the transmission, because it puked out all the transmission fluid when it blew that transmission line at the radiator. And he's going to stop and put gas in the gas can. So I'm going to go full Derek on it and go straight out of the gas cans into the fuel line, into the fuel pump, and maybe get home without any problems. I'll keep you updated. All right, the help is still on his way. He left Advanced Auto Parts. That's who's been helping me all week. So I sent him there to get all the supplies. But the sunset is beautiful. So I'm gonna flip this camera around and share the sunset with you guys. You just gotta stop and enjoy stuff. You can't get all wrapped up in getting stranded and bad things happening and stuff like that. So anyway, flipping the camera around. Check out the sunset so far. Off in the distance, that is Sierra Blanca. It's get patchy, but in the old days it was Sierra Blanca. But pretty nice view where I'm sitting, better than in the middle of the road. A Texan stopped and pulled me up off the road. I was on kind of a blind corner, and he took care of me. So we'll wait for Joe to get here. I'll get some gas cans and do that, and then fill the transmission up with fluid, hit the road, see what happens. So Joe made it. There's Joe. And there's my junk. We have the gas line going into the fuel can. Got 2 more cans back there, you can't see them. It's running down under to the clicky-clacky pump. Right there, we added transmission fluid to the transmission because it puked all of it out. Cut the busted line off of the fuel line, off of the transmission line, and put it into the transmission line. metal line. Not making much sense. I'm a little bit tired. So this should get us going and fine. I'm going to let it run for a little bit, make sure that I'm getting fuel from the gas can, and we'll go from there. All right, I made it back. Put the gas can in the bed and ran a fuel line from the clicky-clacky pump into the bed and put a ratchet extension on it to hold the hose down in the water, in the gasoline. It's been a long day. This 2-hour trip turned into 6 hours, but we're back home, back in the mountains where I belong. I'm gonna call it a night. In the morning I'll come back out and show you what I did during the day, because both times this has been at night. So anyway, I'll see you in the morning. I'm turning in. Good night. All right, so this is the next morning, or afternoon now. I've spent all morning on the phone with Verizon tech support for some problems, but we did finally make it back, as you saw. I'm gonna go over today what I had to do to get back, and some of the problems we had during the trip, and finally got home. So I will get this camera flipped around and give you a tour of my problems and fixes and what I learned and all that stuff. All right, we'll start under the hood. Took 2 Ooga Oogas to get that up. Engine's all clean and shiny, but it's not. That's all ATF all over. I'm glad this thing didn't go up in flames with the amount of ATF that was sprayed on it. But my problem was that connection. Fortunately, it was right at the connection where the line blew, so all I had to do was cut it off and pull the hose clamp and re-put it on and re-hose clamp it. So that was an easy fix. However, it pumped all of my ATF out. So when Joe brought parts to me, he brought me 6 quarts of ATF, which left me 1 extra in case I needed it. But I didn't hurt the transmission. I just pulled it until it stopped pulling. Well, I pulled it and then it stopped pulling, so I just immediately shut it down in the middle of the road. So at one point, there's my fuel line. That one right there. At one point when it was not running well, I pulled that off and it was just spitting fuel out. It wasn't flowing at all. It was just spit, 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 and there's just a couple of dribbles it would spit out. So I bypassed, before the trip, I bypassed the mechanical fuel pump and came up the same path, and this is hooked up to the electric fuel pump in the back. I didn't know if it was sending too much fuel back to the tank, so this one right here is the return fuel line. So I folded it back and zip tied it twice, which in the end worked in my favor. So the only thing I'm using of the original fuel system is the feed line, the original metal feed line, and it was clear. It had another point, I was flat, and it was spitting fuel out, flowing fuel out. So then when I called my friend Joe, I had him bring me 10 feet of fuel line, which here's part of it. Runs down below. I'll show you from the other side. But I learned this on roadkill, that you take your longest extension and put on there, and then do it below the tip so that the tip doesn't get jabbed down or pulled down by gravity onto the bottom of the gas can. to get from Ruidoso, I used 1 can of gas. As soon as it started spitting and sputtering, I got out and dropped this in the 2nd can of gas. And I've got a 3rd spare one back there. And this one is probably a 1/3 full. So it took about 7 gallons for me to make 60 miles. Quick math in my head, that's about 10 miles a gallon. So I'll come over here and show you under the truck what I did. There's my fuel line. It wasn't dragging the ground like that. You just saw me poke it down. But the line that comes from the tank, I folded it in half and then connect that directly to, I bypassed the fuel filter. I didn't feel like I needed it with a new can and fresh tank or fresh gas from the pump. And then there's a fuel filter up in the front anyway. But anyway, I bypassed my gas tank, which is right there. I think I've got a pickup problem. Once I got all this done, it never gave me the running out of fuel problem that has given me forever. So that narrowed it down to the fuel pickup line in the tank. So I'm going to drop the tank at some point, probably a future video. Drop the tank, see what's going on, order the parts I need, and then get that taken care of, and then I shouldn't have any problem. Not real happy with the fuel mileage and a 16-gallon tank. I'm probably going to come up with another plan to be able to go more than 160 miles or less at a time. So we can say 100 miles, which is basically less than 2 hours of driving. It's not very good, but anyway, that's what it took to get home. And I'm finally home. I'm gonna call this video done and winterize the RV and stuff. I've got the heater going right now so it doesn't freeze. So anyway, no, it's not gonna make it to Roswell and back without problems. It gave me plenty of problems. Fortunately, it didn't leave me on the side of the road. Oh, about that. So I called my road assistants, and they couldn't get anybody to accept the job because of the 5th wheel. If I had a bumper pull, they could have put the truck up on a flatbed and then towed the bumper pull behind me. I was to a point, before I got parts brought to me, I was ready to leave this camper. I was going to just abandon it on the side of the road and get the truck hauled where I needed to, fix it, and then come back and pick it up. But since Joe English brought me my parts and I got it running, I didn't have to leave it there. But I was on the side of the road a good 4.5 hours waiting for someone to accept the challenge. It wasn't until I got to Pikachu, New Mexico at that Allsips and filled up with gas that I called and canceled that order for the tow truck. So I probably would have been there all night waiting for someone. Next time I go anywhere, I'm going to have a generator in the bed of the truck, and I've got the adapter to hook up the generator to the RV, and we at least have heat and power if I'm on the side of the road again. So we'll be figuring things out as we go. Anyway, on to the next video. Y'all have a good day.